Good morning, everybody. Now, for today, I'd like us to focus on one truth about God that should change our relationship with Him. Everyone seems to be busy, and there are all kinds of busyness, isn't it? There's not just the work or school busyness, it's the daily demands, the daily busyness. And one of the downsides of busyness is that we tend to forget things. I, for one, have trouble remembering birthdays of my friends or even my relatives. And some of you may find it hard to remember appointments or telephone numbers. Now, busyness tends to lead to increased stress, a lack of focus, and misplaced priorities. I noticed that on weekends and on public holidays, people have a tendency to pack their calendar with a dozen things to do. And on Sundays, the Sabbath day is no longer a day that is set apart for God. Sunday can nowadays be so filled with recreational plans, birthday parties, tuition classes, lunches with friends, enrichment classes, and so forth. And so much so that worship at church becomes a dispensable activity. Never mind, we will skip church because we have to do such and such a thing. Now, I want you to know that God is always thinking about you. God is always thinking about you. And it's very amazing considering that God is pretty busy, like a gazillion times busier than we could ever be. And if God would forget anything, then it could mean the end of our world. Psalm chapter 40 verse 5 says, "Many, O Lord my God, are the wonders which you have done, and many are your thoughts toward us. There is no one to compare with you. If I would declare and speak of them, they would be too numerous to count." And the psalm continues with the words of verse 17. "As for me, I am poor and needy, but the Lord takes thought of me." It's hard to conceive that God constantly thinks about me. He is so busy, and therefore I can see how He would think of me only now and then. Like when I pray to Him or when I serve Him. And I would understand if He thinks less of me if I disappoint Him or if I fall into sin. But that's not the case with God. God's love for us is unconditional, and He thinks of you and me all the time. I think there are times in our lives when we wish that God would not think about us. We'd like Him to look the other way sometime, because sometimes we want to distance ourselves from Him, just to go and sulk in one corner, or just to entertain some ungodly behavior or conversation or thought. Yet these two verses remind us that there is not even a split second that I am out of His thoughts, and God will never forget you ever. Not a moment when I or you are out of His vision or His field of concern. Never once are we removed from His mind. And many are His wonderful works that He has done for us. It's amazing that God makes so much time for each of us. Talk about a busy schedule. The psalmist wrote in Psalm 95 verses 3 and 4, "For the Lord is a great God. In His hand are the depths of the sea. The heights of the mountains are His also. The sea is His, for He made it, and His hands form the dry land." Everything is created by God. Man, we have this tendency to act like we know everything. We know everything already about the world. We have discovered so much, and we have already mastered everything. And we think we have dominated nature even. But what do we know about the depths of the earth? What do we know about the core of this planet Earth? Just to illustrate how little we know, last year alone, in 2024, scientists say about 100 new marine species were discovered. 100 new marine species were discovered. Can you imagine how little we know? Look into the sea. You think we know all the fish there are, but it's not true. Only God knows. And Nehemiah declared in chapter 9, verse 6, you alone are the Lord. You have made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their hosts, the earth and all that is in it, and the seas and all that is in them, and you preserve all of them. And the host of heaven worships you. So everything in creation, everywhere you turn, God's involved in it. And you could say God is in charge of the universe maintenance. And the book of Job, chapter 12, verse 10 says, in his hand, in God's hand, is the life of every living creature and the breath of all mankind. Now that's a busy, busy God. Imagine the amount of time He needs to maintain our lives and the universe. What would happen if God were to forget for a moment to care for the universe? But I don't read in the Bible anywhere that God leaves the world to robots or to angels or to a million engineers. Not a single thing is left to AI. My breath is in His hands. And multiply that by every person that is on the planet, every living thing, any animal that roams this earth, every fish that swims in the ocean or a tiny pond, every bird that flies through the sky, every tree, every insect and worm, and so forth. Everything is in His hands. And such a truth is so overwhelming. And that's why David wrote in Psalm chapter 8, verses 3 and 4. When I look at the heavens, when I consider the heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man? What is man that God, you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man that you care for him? We might get busy and preoccupied, but God is never too busy to keep His mind and His eye upon you, my brother and sister. You are always on His mind. And it's not because we are so attractive or cute or wonderful. No, the psalmist says in verse 17 of Psalm 40, we are poor and needy. We are poor and needy, but the Lord takes thought for me. We are made of dust. Each of us is a speck of dust on the face of the earth, populated now by over 8 billion specks of dust on one planet rotating around the sun, which is one star in billions of stars in the Milky Way, one galaxy in countless galaxies that exist. And yet God cannot stop thinking about you. And not just once does He think about you, once in a blue moon. No, you are the object of His desire. You are the object of His special interest. So Matthew chapter 10, verse 29, Jesus says, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them will fall to the ground apart from my Father. So not a sparrow will fall to the floor unless God allows it. And verse 30, but even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, you are of more value than many sparrows. Why does God think about you so often? Is it because you're part of His checklist, His maintenance checklist? No, it's because He loves you. When you love someone, you think about them often. Now, Satan would like to distort that understanding. He will tell you that God doesn't think about you. God doesn't give a thought to what you plan or what you have to do or what you worry about. Or He tells you that God only thinks about you when He's planning to discipline you, to punish you. But that's a lie. You are always on His mind. And this fact should give you tremendous comfort. Because look, life is filled with danger and distress, and there's a lot of fear. And often there is also loneliness and insecurity. As the psalmist confessed, we are poor and needy, but I know that God sees you. God knows all about you. God knows what you are going through, and you are not alone. How loving is our God. And we should love him in return. Don't make it a one-sided love relationship. Be intentional about spending time with God. And don't be in a perpetual state of busyness. Isaiah 26 verse 3 says, God will keep you in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him, because we trust God. If I lack the perfect peace of God, it is because my mind is not stayed on God, is not focused or not, is wavering, And busyness can make us scatterbrained. Busyness makes us unfocused and not stayed on him. So don't let the demands of life overshadow the spiritual needs we have for a connection with God. And I close with Psalm 91, verses 14 to 16. This is what God, our Lord, who thinks about you all the time, says about the person who loves him in return. God says, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. What a promise. So set your love upon God. Set your mind upon him. Be stayed on him, because he thinks about you all the time, and he will never, never leave you nor forsake you. The Lord bless you. Have a great day.